What simple piece of advice, if followed, could potentially save most people a lot of money? A cab ride is a lot cheaper than a DUI. Learn the difference between need and want. I need moon shows. I want a job. Am I doing good? Don't buy it right now. Buy it next week. You'll probably forget about half the stuff you'd have thrown your money at in the spur of the moment. But this game on Steam is only one day on sale. Only buy things on sale if they are already on your wish list. Like, this is the most basic and obvious, but most transgressed rule of savings. It's not a sale. If you had no intention of buying the good/service to begin with, you didn't save 50% on that shirt you didn't need. You spent half as much as you normally would have spent. My mom is so bad for this. Well, it's cheaper to buy 2. No, mom, it's cheaper to buy 0. Pack a lunch. Cheaper and healthier. I just packed a brown bag full of Twinkies. I'm on my way to a healthier lifestyle. I packed lobster thermidor and gummy worms. Don't go to grad school unless someone else pays for it. Absolutely yes. Also, don't let your research advisor treat you like a slave. You don't get paid enough for that shit. I paid for my own grad school, and it was a financially responsible decision. One of the best financial decisions I've made, in fact. Quit smoking. I'm going to take up smoking and then give that up. You are going to save a fortune. According to my smoking app, I quit 198 days ago and have saved $4,774. I'm at £2,467.50 on mine. I'm trying to figure out how to withdraw funds from the app. I really need it now to pay off some loans, and neither the app makers nor Google Play are answering my emails. I once heard a joke along these lines. A couple of guys were standing in line at a convenience store. The first guy in line asks the clerk for a pack of smokes. The clerk rings them up at $10. Incredulous, the guy behind him asks, "How much do you smoke?" The first guy replies, "I've been smoking 2 packs a day for 10 years. The second guy asks, "How can you afford that?" "I'm used to it," he replies. Doing some quick mental calculations, the second guy says, "You know, with all of that money you've spent on cigarettes, you could have bought a Ferrari by now." Looking out in the parking lot, the first guy asks, "So you're a non-smoker, I take it?" The second guy smugly says yep. Without missing a beat, the smoker asks, "So then where's your Ferrari, asshole?" For the youngins, really think about if you want to go to college. It's not for everyone. There's a lot of opportunities in the skilled trades now. If you're into one of them, college can put you into major debt, so make sure you want to make the investment beforehand. Edit. Please don't confuse not going to college with choosing not to get an education. In America, there seems to be a huge push for getting a traditional college degree. What I'm suggesting is that people consider going to trade school if traditional college doesn't interest them. There are opportunities out there for mechanics, welders, HVAC, electricians, heavy equipment operators, the list goes on. Maybe check into something like these if you find it interesting. Not everyone finds traditional colleges and universities stimulating enough. Doesn't mean it's wrong. Just weigh your options first. If you can't afford it now, you probably won't be able to afford it when the credit card statement comes. Corollary to this, if you can't make a decision between one thing or another, or whether or not you can afford it, sleep on it 90% of the time. When I do this, I end up deciding not to get whatever it is. It's one thing to have it in your hand, or in your Amazon cart, because usually we can talk ourselves into anything. Once you disconnect yourself from the temptation, it's easier to think rationally and make the decision to hold off. Take a breath, people. It'll save you money and regret. Masturbate, then decide in the post-fap clarity. Don't buy an $8 coffee every morning. Buy an espresso machine. Learn to use it. Problem solved. I spend less time than I would have in Starbucks. Also, where the duck are you finding $8 beverages? Pay yourself first. When you get paid, systematically put them into savings. Decide your percentage beforehand, 10% for example, and do it every time. Treat yourself to a secure and comfortable future. I could be mistaken, but I remember reading in a similar thread that you should clear your browser cookies when buying a plane ticket online. Apparently they use cookies to keep track of how many times you check the price of that particular flight and make it more expensive, so you panic and buy it. Therefore clearing the cookies takes away that extra charge. I could just be making shut up, but I'm pretty sure I remember this. Yeah, this is true. My friend and I heard about it and tried it to see if there was any truth. He looked up a certain offer and then a couple of hours later he looked it up again. It had gone up nearly $100. He messaged me and got me to go and look up the exact same fare, and it was the original price he had found it for in the first place on my computer. Bastards. I'm a professor. Go to community college first. You can afford to say, duck it not for me without being in an investment trap. You can still learn valuable critical thinking skills and learn about the social ailments of the world. In fact, from my experience, CC profs are often more active and concerned about social justice issues than higher up the ivory tower. You have access to CTE, career and technical education, programs which can set you up with great careers. And if you decide 4-year university is for you, you can do your general education requirements and transfer with ease to your local university and save a boatload of money. People don't realize, when they are struggling through a 200-person physics course at a university with an absentee prof and apathetic tires, that they can drive down the road and pay a fourth of the cost to learn the same material in a class of 40 with a prof that cares. And CCs always have transferability arrangements with the nearby universities, meaning they spoon feed you this option. Buy cars in cash and live in smaller houses. Sure, you can save $1 or $2 here or there on coffee or packing lunches, but the big money is in transportation and housing. You can save many hundreds of dollars per month buying used cars in cash, vs leasing or financing, and lowering your rent/mortgage and household utilities by buying smaller housing. If you use it often, and it's not perishable, buy in bulk. Especially if it's on special. I've seen guys waste money coming in week after week for a few razor blades, or 3-pack instead of a 12-pack, purely because the small pack is cheaper. No bro, work it out per blade and the 12-pack is cheaper. This works with almost 90% of goods. The little price in the corner of the price tag on the shelf is the unit price. Compare the little numbers, not the big ones. Ditch cable TV. Make your own meals. Don't eat out. Eating someone out doesn't cost anything. Don't procreate. $2 for a condom is better than 18 years of child support. You can get them for free at the depth of public health. Children. Take your credit card, put it in a Ziploc bag, put that in a Tupperware, fill it with water, stick it in the freezer. If you still want to buy something by the time your credit card thaws out, go for it. I'm a bit late to the party, but for impulse buyers like me, this is a really good tip. When you're thinking about buying something you don't necessarily need, imagine somebody offering you the thing in one hand and what it costs in cash in the other. If you would take the cash over the thing from this imaginary stranger, you probably shouldn't buy the thing. Don't get in credit card debt, especially store cards. I'm looking at you Walmart. Some of these cards have interest rates of 18%. I watched a girl get fucked over hard with store cards once. I worked at Best Buy, and this young girl and 3 young guys came in. The girl wanted to open up a store card. Naturally we were suspicious as they all appeared under 18. We checked and double checked the info she gave us, and the bank said she was good to go. She was given a card with 4.5%, or about that, APR, and a $3,000 limit, and no interest for 6 months, if I recall. She went about bought a PS3, PSP, games and accessories for each of the guys she was with. Turns out they were her BF and his 2 best friends. She completely maximumed out the card with those purchases, a laptop, and movies. All in the span of a few hours. Of course the management was ecstatic. A huge sale and a credit card enrollment. Girl came in 7 months or so later, crying her eyes out, on the verge of going mental. Turns out she forgot to read the fine print. If the card isn't at $0 balance after the 6 months, you are not only charged the interest for all items that were purchased within those 6 months, but you are billed at your new interest rate of 21%. The girl was crying and making a scene. Her BF had left her shortly after her purchase. He wouldn't return the items to her, nor compensate her for her purchases. She worked a part-time for minimum wage, and didn't expect to have to pay this much. Unfortunately there wasn't anything they were willing to do to help the girl out. But to be fair, I don't think the credit card was her only mistake. She didn't get ducked over by the store cards. She ducked over herself.